So hello everyone and welcome to ConnecTALKS Friuli Venezia Giulia to experience the wonders of this unique and beautiful Italian region. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michaela. I'm the managing director and founder of Connections. And as many of you I'm sure know, Connections is the next generation of doing business and is designed for decision makers. We've pioneered a new way of building trust through memorable experiences that lead to long-lasting business relationships. And here we are with an amazing experience that Friuli Venezia Giulia is bringing to us. Everything that we do is specifically designed in the Connections way of doing business. So in spirit of our ethos, I encourage everyone to get involved and to have your cameras on, ready to discover the person behind the profession and to ask as many questions as you wish through the chat, but there will also be an opportunity at the end of this experience to ask as many questions as you have. We are privileged to be powering this event on behalf of Friuli Venezia Giulia in Italy. And here with us from the tourism board, Promo Turismo Friuli Venezia Giulia, we have Antonella Russo, head of the promotion department, who is a hiking lover. She loves hiking in nature, and let's face it, how can you resist living in a beautiful region like that one? We've got Raffaella Zaccai as well, part of the B2B promotion department. Raffaella is in charge of the UK market, but she's also a gig goer and a traveler. Veronica Pertot is also part of the B2B promotions department in charge of Eastern Europe. And she's a piano addict and a sea lover. And then last but no means least, Lara Persello, who's in part of the promotion department of food and wine and loves baking and travel. As many of you know, Friuli Venezia Giulia is the northeast of Italy, off the beaten track, set amongst the peaks of the Alps and the Dolomites, the waves of the Adriatic Sea and the vineyards of the Collio Hills, a border region where Italian, Slavic and German cultures meet with traditions, languages and religion. The region offered charming ancient hamlets, big and small art cities such as Trieste, Udine, Pordenone and Gorizia, as well as UNESCO sites such as Aquileia, Palmanova and Cividale del Friuli, where you'll be able to follow in the footsteps of ancient Romans and Venetians. The region also offers wild nature with natural parks and rivers and lagoons, gastronomic experience with excellent white wines and traditional local specialities. For example, il Prosciutto San Daniele and Montasio cheese. My goodness, my mouth is watering already. In this 1-hour webinar session, which is a live experience, the guys will offer you the best that this region can offer. So before I introduce our guests, a bit of housekeeping. Today I'm joined with my colleague, Evangeline Estrella, Head of Operations, and Jessie Sharp, Buyer Manager, who will be interacting with you all in the chat. And also a shout out to any of the Connections team who will be joining us today. I'm sure many of you will have used Zoom before, but if not, please, can I ask you to place yourself on mute for now, though there will be a chance to ask questions at the end. In this 1-hour session, we will be recording it. So if you have any colleagues or friends who might find this talk and experience useful, we will be distributing the talk in the coming days. I have now the pleasure to hand over to Antonella Russo at Azienda Vinicola Russi Superiore. Antonella.
Buongiorno, buongiorno, and welcome to Friuli Venezia Giulia. Just a virtual journey for today, but we hope that we will be able as soon as possible to welcome you personally in this small region in the northeast of Italy. Here, Friuli Venezia Giulia is the proof that there are still a lot of places to be discovered in Italy, as this one, for example. The Italian writer Ippolito Nievo said, Friuli Venezia Giulia is a small universe. Indeed, you can find here all the peculiarities that have made Italy so beloved for many centuries by poets, but also by travelers. And everything just within 2 hours drive, more or less, starting from the environments, very different landscapes, the Dolomites, the Alps, the gentle hills where the best wines, white wines of the world are produced. Like here where I am. Look, I am now in Russitz Superiore in the Collio area, which is one of the most famous in the world for the white wines. But also the plain, the lagoon, the seaside with the sandy beaches, everything really inside 200 kilometers. And in these 200 kilometers, as Michaela just said, a lot of ancient hamlets, a lot of UNESCO World Heritage or cities of art, everything to be discovered. But also you can imagine so different environments and so different cultures too. We are here at the border with Austria and Slovenia. And as every region at the border, we were crossed by many folks. And therefore, there is also a very interesting cultural mix we will see later, my colleague Veronica in Trieste. So many environments and so many culture have also made a very unique enogastronomic experience that you can make in Friuli Venezia Giulia. For example, for the wines, you have to imagine here are produced every year more than 80 million bottles of wine. And it can seem quite a lot, but it's not so much because it's just 2% of the whole Italian production. But more than 90% of our production has a very high level. And here, for example, in Collio, you have special white wines, but more and more also special red wines because it's becoming warmer. And so it's also possible to make very good red wines. And if you come like here in Russitz Superiore, you go into the vineyards, you go into to see the producers and you meet the people that really work. This is normally, we say, you drink to forget. Here in Friuli Venezia Giulia is exactly something very different. We drink to remember our traditions, to remember our history. And in all this production, you will meet the producers themselves, are ready to talk to you, to explain their experiences, to explain their daily work. For example, here today, we are here with Ilaria from Russitz Superiore, and she will be also the one to welcome you when you come to Friuli Venezia Giulia. She has also lived in the UK for a long time, so she speaks perfectly English. So I hope I have made you a little bit curious, and I give immediately the stage to Raffaella. Raffaella is in charge for the UK in our B2B office. So we are the only Italian region to have a B2B office who's in charge just for you, tour operators and travel agents, in order to help you to make the best travel at all for your clients. So I give the stage to Raffaella to explain to you a bit more about our fascinating region. Ciao.
Thank you very much, Antonella, and thank you very much for you all for being here. I just want to share with you some little images to discover together how about this Friuli Venezia Giulia. As we said, we are just in the heart of Europe, in the center of Europe. You can see easily from the map in here how to get there and where we are placed in Italy. North and east part of Italy with the richness of landscape, and the core of all of this is the variety. Variety on landscapes that includes art cities, UNESCO sites, sandy beaches by the Adriatic Sea, Alps, Dolomites, cycling, tasty local food, and of course, wines, because Italy is connected, of course, for cultural experience, but of course, that is food and wine to remember your travels in here. So I guess after this, I think it's time to jump on a plane and just land in Trieste airport, that is there from London with Ryanair, or the closest airport could be Venice airport with BA. And then you land in Trieste airport. Imagine the Trieste airport is just 30 minutes driving from Piazza Unità d'Italia. We are here in Trieste. Piazza Unità d'Italia, this one is the picture, is the biggest we have in Europe facing the sea. And there we have my colleague, my friend, Veronica, a local Triestina, that will introduce about Trieste. Buongiorno, Veronica.
Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to my hometown, the Trieste city. So here we are in this fantastic square. This is the Piazza dell'Unità d'Italia. As Raffaella said, it's one of the most beautiful squares facing the sea in Europe. So today we have a little bit London-oriented weather, but still soon we'll have the sun, and we are ready to welcome you to try a typical coffee break in Trieste. But why? Trieste is a very particular city. So it was the main harbor of the Austrian Empire. So it has developed very, very quickly in the 18th century, thanks to its status of free port. So what happened? That from overseas, they imported coffee to Trieste, and it was then brought to the heart of the empire, the city of Vienna. So you will notice that here, the architecture of the city is maybe a little bit different from other parts of Italy. They say this little Vienna on the sea. So thanks to this very huge development in that time, many roasteries opened in Trieste, and many also coffee shops opened. Famous poets like, for example, James Joyce or Italo Svevo met in these historical cafes to discuss about literature and culture. And the Trieste citizen, the Triestinis, as me, we love coffee very much. We have a very, very deep connection with this culture. And this is so important for us that we invented a specific lexicon that is valid only in the city of Trieste, in the Trieste province. So it's a unique way to order it in Italy. And I would like you today to come with me in a historical cafe, a very important historical cafe, which is the Caffè degli Specchi, founded in the beginning of the 19th century in Trieste. So let's go inside with me. So here we are in this fantastic historical cafe. So now we will try to order a typical coffee, Triestino coffee. Just one second. Morning. Just one second, because I'm waiting for somebody to. Okay, good morning. May I have a capo in B? Yes, thank you so much. So what I've ordered, capo in B, because in Trieste we don't say cappuccino, we say capo, and it's always served in a small cup or in a glass, bicchiere in B, as I said. So maybe you will ask yourself, okay, but how can I order a cappuccino, a typical Italian cappuccino? So in Trieste, you will say caffè latte. It's not so difficult, because here at Caffè degli Specchi, you will find this tip. This will be your dictionary to how to order the coffee in Trieste. So you won't get lost. And of course, you will be able to order a coffee as a local. So the typical coffees that you find in Trieste is, of course, capo in B, as I asked, or gocciato, which is an espresso with a drop of milk, or a nero, which is a simple espresso. So here we have our capo in B. So that's fantastic. Wow. I asked the director to have a look at it. So, but still, remember that if you ask for a nero, which in Trieste means espresso, in Udine, for example, so in another city at 8 in the morning, they would probably serve a glass of red wine. So be really careful about it. So thank you very much. And I wait for you for a coffee break in Trieste. Bye. Thanks, Raffaella.
Thank you very much, Veronica. We all won't be there with you just to cross the square and just make a quick sum up of how to order the coffee in there. I just would like to say that coming to Trieste and ordering the coffee like a local, it's an unmissable experience. And as we show, you will have the chance to have this little dictionary by the bar, so you will feel already in the mood like a Triestino. But Trieste is not only Piazza Unità d'Italia, it's visiting also the amazing castle just outside town. About 20 minutes driving, you will get to the magnificent castle by the seaside. This is called Castello di Miramare. Imagine for every single window from the castle, you can see the seaside. At the moment, it's a museum. There is a lovely park where you can stroll around and then enjoy fabulous landscapes surrounded by the light blue of the sea. Amazing spot in the evening for sunset. So very, very nice spot. And just in the hills behind, there are nice hiking paths for any kind of hiker. So you can enjoy your hiking moment, looking at the sea and enjoy your, let's say, natural moment outside town. But from Trieste, we are not that far, actually, from the Collio area where Antonella was. I mean, we are here by this gentle hills. Collio is one of the 9 DOC area where local white wines are produced, like for instance, Friulano or Ribolla Gialla. There are the autochthone and native grapes. But the Sauvignon production is becoming really, really more, let's say, famous among the wine lovers because we start producing a Sauvignon Friulan way. So it's becoming this international grapes and local grapes very popular, but also red wines. The landscape is with gentle hills like this, with bed and breakfast, agriturismo, or charming castle that can host you and your guests, during this time here. Fantastic foliage in autumn, super greeny like we have in these days, and lots of possibility also for doing sports. You can, for instance, enjoy riding bikes or e-bikes and discover the little narrow street you will find among all the vineyards and the hills. So to get most of your active time on a sunny, Italian holiday. Everything here has lots of spaces. Imagine we are here with, let's say, 95% of the wineries are family run. So you have the chance to meet the owner, like Antonella did with Ilaria, where we were hosted today. Lots of space, not mass tourism, off-beaten tracks, still a lot of authenticity, and still a lot of job are still handmade. Like, for instance, the harvesting. There is, for instance, this year, the possibility for your clients to enjoy this project called Harvest and Taste, where legally you can enjoy the Italian harvesting beginning, let's say, from the end of August and in September. So a really authentic Italian experience. And a nice combination in this area, this is not that big, and that we are very close to cultural and art sites. From the DOC Collio wine year, we are very close to Gorizia. I love to call Gorizia our, let's say, little Berlin, because it was a city together. It was divided into Gorizia and Nova Gorica, and now we play together again, because in 2025, Gorizia in Italian, Nova Gorica in Slovenia will be the European culture capital. So it's a nice combination from visiting Collio and visiting this art city in just less than 15 minutes driving. And continuing driving along, let's say, the eastern part of the territory, we have reached also the DOC Colli Orientali del Friuli. Landscape full of vineyards, gentle hills, this greenery that's surrounding you with olive tree as well. So this green landscape, they make your eyes full of, let's say, Italian beauty and of course history, because most of the winery have got these historical cellars. So you will discover all the secrets with the owner, and not that far, there is the possibility to visit UNESCO sites. From Colli Orientali down to this town here called Cividale del Friuli. It's an UNESCO site. It's just 15 minutes driving. So every day you can combine a tasting together with a cultural discovery, just, a day in a cozy Italian little town. We are here in Cividale. In the picture, you can see this bridge that is called the Devil's Bridge. There is a legend behind, because the inhabitants of Cividale wanted to build up this bridge, but the devil said, no way, I have to get the first soul passing through this bridge in order to allow you to build up the bridge. But the local were quite smart. They mocked the devil, leaving, the legends say, a cat or a dog. So the devil grabbed the soul of the cat or the dog, and the inhabitants were able to build up this river. Imagine under here you have the Natisone River, and just the background over there, it's a skyline with the pre-Alps and the Alps. But the jewel of this town is visit Tempietto Longobardo. Cividale was the first town that the Longobards founded in Italy, And an unmissable experience is visiting with a guided tour the Tempietto Longobardo with the stucco of these ladies are really wow factor, absolutely. You still have the perceiving of the ancient time, really mystical. So I would definitely recommend step into this part of history. And to feed your soul, not only, but also your belly, I suggest to have a slice of gubana. Gubana is the typical local dessert from Cividale and Valli del Natisone. They used to be prepared for Easter time, for Christmas time, and for wedding. And it's a perfect pairing with the local white wines. It's filled with raisins, you know, and peanuts. So really, really tasty and give you extra energy to keep on your traveling in Friuli Venezia Giulia, because there is plenty of borghi più belli d'Italia to discover, from Valvasone, Fagagna, Gradisca, Avenzone, by the gentle hills, boundary mountains. There are 13 borghi più belli d'Italia in Friuli Venezia Giulia, so you won't miss traveling around without finding something charming and very unique. And not that far from Cividale, actually, we are able to reach Palmanova. Palmanova, UNESCO site, the star-shaped city. As you can see, it's very unique and amazing shape. It was a fortress that was built up by the Venetians. The Venetians were expecting the arrival of the Turks. They didn't arrive, and they left this fantastic fortress. There is the possibility to walk, of course, along the walk, to ride along the perimeter, or riding a horse as well. And, you know, it's a really unmissable experience, also combined with food and wine, because not that far, about 10 minutes driving, you will reach Grappa Nonino Distillery. That is the first Italian distillery in the world to win this prize, the Wine Enthusiast Award, in January 2019 as Distillery of the Year. So this perfect pairing with art and food and wine is covering really, really short distances. And not that far from Palmanova, we have Aquileia. Aquileia is the first UNESCO site we had in Friuli Venezia Giulia, 1998. The wow factor of entering in this basilica remains every single time I go there, very wow factor. Imagine on the floor, you will have all the history of the Christianity. The pavement was used as to teach the history of Christianity to the people. And now the mosaic is so well preserved that I think it's something unmissable, really, really unmissable. And not that far from Aquileia, we are reaching the seaside. We are reaching the Adriatic Sea. Palmanova and Aquileia are along the Alpe Adria cycling path as well. That is a cycling path that goes from Salzburg and then reach Friuli Venezia Giulia by the Julian Alps. And from the Julian Alps, go down to the plain, down to the seaside. So while cycling, you can also meet this amazing, charming city with Palmanova and Aquileia. But not that far from Aquileia, we're reaching Grado, a Venetian style, a cozy town, these little narrow streets like in Venice, so-called Calli, surrounded by the lagoon. So there is the possibility, of course, to stroll in the art city center, just to enjoy sailing outside town, maybe have an excursion at the sunset, and of course, taste the local food like in Lignano Sabbiadoro, another seaside resort of Friuli Venezia Giulia. Both kept this strong tradition with fishermen. So, of course, you will have the chance to taste spaghetti alle vongole, but I would definitely recommend to taste the boretto. That is a local, let's say, main course you would find when in Friuli Venezia Giulia by the lagoon. So in Grado, in Varano Lagunaro, in Lignano, it's an unmissable experience you can't forget to do at, when you're sitting at table with your friends. A combination of tradition and charm, and tasty cuisine. So there's, artistic cuisine, and of course cannot miss a scoop of tiramisu while at the end of your meal in Friuli Venezia Giulia. But the water of Friuli Venezia Giulia are not only the water of the seaside, not only the water of the lagoons, but also the water by the Alps. We are here by the Julian Alps, we are here in Fusine Lake, you are surrounded by the forest of Tarvisio, pure nature, fresh air, lots of space, enjoy for hiking around the lake, different kind of hikings for any kind of hikers. So family, friends, they love this tough ferrata path, or just, sit and sipping your favorite drink, enjoying simply the nature. not that far from Sposine Lake, we have the Plateau del Montasio, Altipiano del Montasio, where one of the most famous products of the territory is produced. There is Formaggio Montasio. And there in Plateau del Montasio is one of the first places where this Montasio, this cheese, lactose-free, is produced. And it's one of the main ingredients to produce the fricco. Once you come to Friuli Venezia Giulia, especially in the Friuli part, a slice of fricco, it's a must taste. It's a combination with Montasio cheese, potatoes, and onions. Gives you a lot of energy so you can get the most of your hiking moments. Here, for instance, we are in Alpe Adria hiking path by the Monte Lussari. Alpe Adria hiking path, it's an itinerary that goes from Austria to Slovenia and down to Italy and pass by the Alps, by the gentle hills, and finish by the seaside. So there are different kind of, let's say, stages. Those ones by the Alps are maybe the tough. Some of them, for instance, pass by where Antonella was, so among the vineyards, and finish by, you know, the seaside in Muggia, nearby Trieste. So a combination of any kind of activity. So one of possibility to get rid of all the calories we had, because we already had Gubana, we had Fricco, you can hike, or you can enjoy cycling along the Alpe Adria cycling path. That is the cycling path that goes from Salzburg in Austria via Tarvis by our Julian Alps in Italy, down to Palmanova, Aquileia, and finish by the seaside. Or by the Alps, you can just enjoy fresh air, enjoy yoga classes, for instance, is the fantastic nature that keeps you balanced, and learn, for instance, how to prepare the cialciones, the local ravioli you will find in our Alps in Carnia. Imagine every single hamlet has got his own recipe. The fill is generally with herbs, peanuts, it depends. Every single family has got its own. And most of the time is with just some ricotta fumicata. And I think your buds of your mouth will be really happy to enjoy this taste that you will find all over the territory. Friuli Venezia Giulia is not only Alps, not only fruit, but also Dolomites. We are here, for instance, in Sappada by the Dolomites, a nice place where you can enjoy, of course, ski in the winter. There is the possibility to ski with Olympic champions during the winter for doing cross-ski country, or you can just stroll with your family among this fantastic green surrounded by the peaks of Dolomites. And going down again to the central part of the region, we're going to reach San Daniele del Friuli. San Daniele reminds to you, maybe sounds familiar, it's this cozy town nestled on a hill. On the back, we have the Pre-Alps and the Alps. In front, there is a plain, and this mixture of airs gives a fantastic extra factor to Prosciutto di San Daniele. Lara, ci sei?
Hello, everybody.
Oh.
So here I am. Good morning, everybody. I'm here today at La Glaciere Ham Factory, which is one of our members of the wine and taste route of Friuli Venezia Giulia that we friendly name Route 63. Fun fact about this nickname that we gave to the route of wine and taste in Friuli Venezia Giulia is the fact that the actual first wine route in Italy was founded back in 1963 here in Friuli Venezia Giulia, and it was called the Route of Wine and Cherries. So I'm here today in the aging cellar of the Prosciuttificio La Glaciere, and as I mentioned, they are members of our wine and taste route. The wine and taste route is an ideal journey that takes you across Friuli Venezia Giulia from the Alps to the Adriatic Sea. And it gathers more than 400 members divided between wineries, food producers, and restaurants. Each of them offer the true quality, the high quality and excellence of our typical products, such as the King, Prosciutto di San Daniele. So in all our members, the doors are open. Doors are open for your clients to discover the specialties, to discover the culture and the tradition of these productions. All of the members speak English. This is a specific requirement in order to be part of the project. And so for your clients, guided tours and guided tastings of the products can be provided. a lot of events related to the wine and taste fruit are organized. For instance, Raffaella mentioned the Harvest and Taste project, but we can also talk about the Art and Taste project or the Pick and Taste project, where your clients will be able to listen to some fancy jazz music, for example, after having visited the wine cellar and tasting the wine, or maybe get a food box for your picnic in the middle of the vineyards, or like up in the mountains, like in a place overlooking all the entire region. So the calendars for this year activities, for this year experiences connected to food and wine will be
I think we've lost Lara for a minute. I think we may have lost Lara for a second. Yeah. Lara, are you back?
I'm really looking forward to meet you all here and Lara, to discover.
Lara, we've lost you for the last 30 seconds. We've lost you for the last 30 seconds. Can you repeat the last thing you were saying?
Just art and pick in by the mountains, Lara.
Yeah, so lovely. I was saying that all these experiences can be enjoyed by your clients, and the calendars of the actual dates for those experiences related to the wine and taste fruit will be available in the next 2 weeks, I guess, and we will forward the calendars to you as soon as they're ready for you to book in advance all the experiences for your clients. So it was a pleasure talking to you. If you have any question at the end, I can answer them. And I give the stage back to Raffaella for the final words about this amazing region.
Grazie mille, Lara. Grazie mille. I guess your, let's say, finish line by the Prosciutto di San Daniele was pretty good. So I would say that we wait for you in Friuli Venezia Giulia. And for any kind of question, we are here to help you. And thank you very much for attention. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Grazie. This is really amazing. My goodness, Antonella, Raffaella, Veronica, Lara, it's been an incredible journey. We have a few questions actually that we
go for it. We are ready.
That people have been asking along. Alison Owen was asking, what was the art city's name that was 15 minutes away that you mentioned?
It was the star-shaped city or Cividale, or that one with the bridge.
Can you tell me both, and I will actually write them in the chat?
Palmanova is the star-shaped city, UNESCO site.
Mm-hmm.
Or Cividale del Friuli is that one with the river, with the Devil's Bridge by the river.
Perfect.
Lovely.
That's it. So another question that Beat Bob was asking: the bike trail starts in Salzburg and ends where?
It starts in Salzburg and then goes down, let's say, to the Austrian part, from Salzburg to Carinthia, to Kärnten, that is the southern part of Austria, and then from Villach, past the border, and comes to Friuli Venezia Giulia. So the first Italian part will be by a former railway track, pretty, let's say, scenographic, because you're surrounded by the peaks of the Alps and you're cycling along a proper cycling path, so it's dedicated to bikes, among the peaks of the Alps, and then you can go in slope down by the plain, so you can reach Udine, then Palmanova, Aquileia, and finish in Grado. The Italian part, it's about 170 kilometers, more or less, generally speaking. To do the whole path takes about 1 week, and the Italian part, so from Tarvisio via Udine, Palmanova, Aquileia, and Grado, takes about 3 or 4 days. People, generally speaking, do that with normal bike, but some people can also decide to do that with e-bike. But the Italian part is going slope down, so it won't be any specific, let's say, extra super sports requirements, let's say. Yeah, it's cozy because doing also little diversion, you can combine, you know, all the aspects we saw together now. So let's say if you leave that in Udine, in just, let's say, 30 minutes driving, you're going to reach San Daniele on the west side, and on the east side, you're in the area of Cividale. So you can taste Gubana, have some energies more, and then be ready to discover all the wine areas by the Collio and Colli Orientali del Friuli. Yeah.
So it's basically, where can they, are there any links available, or do they just go to friuliveneziagiulia.it?
They can find both. I will definitely send a link to there is also a special video dedicated to the cycling path. So you have a preview for about 2 minutes to just like, let's say, a presentation of the landscape you're going to meet. I think it's a nice idea to discover the area because you can combine active with food and wine and culture. So it's a bit a variety of what you're going to meet. I will definitely keep in touch with the gentleman or the lady who asked that and send all the information. If you want to do the cycling path, you can do that on your own because there is signposts all over the path. So there is no possibility to get lost. You will follow, let's say, all the signposts, cycling path. Or if you want, you can also do with tour operator or with a bike guide and have, of course, an extra experience. But it can do, you can do that in both ways, in a group or just on your own. It's up to you. Yeah.
I'm asking questions on behalf of you guys, but you can actually put yourselves on speaker and actually ask yourself. Lupita was asking a number of questions, which thank you. You've emailed them to me earlier. So Lupita, do you want me to ask or do you want to ask yourself?
Yes, please, if you can ask because I don't have my email available.
Okay, no worries. So Lupita was asking which tour operators feature Friuli Venezia Giulia, and I think it was specific in the UK.
Yeah, for the moment we have Martin Brandl that offers a food and wine tour combined with cultural and Riviera travel. Then there are some tour operators focused on hiking that offer also this Alpe Adria hiking path. Yep. And there are little tour operators that do that on demand, of course.
Okay, great. Maybe Lupita, we can actually email you back as well with all the links. Lupita was also asking, oh, yes, carry on, please.
Oh, sorry.
Lupita was also asking, are all the hotels and sites open?
Yeah, for the moment they are. We just opening this week and the summer season as well by the beaches. So we had the sun today, so keep our finger crossed for the next decree to see if possibly we have also the extension of the curfew, so later than 10 in the evening, and let's see, getting back to a normal life. We're getting on with vaccination. I will get my vaccination next week. I'm in my 40s, so I'm pretty happy to see really becoming better and better of the situation. So it's really, and as we saw, it's a place that is not packed. So you will never ever find, let's say, packed situation like you will find in big cities. There are places off beaten track, lots of space for all of you, meeting the locals. So it's a destination that also before this COVID was also plenty of spaces for you all. So you will never be queuing or being squeezed wherever. There is space for everyone in here, no problem.
And what are the health and safety regulations to visit the area? Is it pretty much like in Italy in general, or are there any specifics?
Yeah, for the moment, we have to carry the mask. I mean, when you're sitting at the restaurant, you're allowed to take that away as well when you're seated in the bar, but we're waiting for the next decree coming in the next week. So we really hope there will be some a bit more relaxed and, you know, getting better and better. For the moment, it's mandatory to wear the mask also outside, but I guess, and I keep my finger crossed that with vaccination and the situation developing in a good way, this will be a way.
And how many days are the perfect number to visit the areas? What would you recommend?
I would say to have a general idea, taking away, let's say, the summer holiday or the winter holiday. Let's take, let's say, May or a time like this. I would say a week, because let's say keeping one, let's say, place, and then in the mood you wake up. Imagine from Udine, that is in the city center, to go into the Alps is just 45 minutes driving. The same is going down to the seaside, 50 minutes driving. So depends on the mood of your day. You can decide, okay, just have a look to the Friuli Venezia Giulia Alps. The day after you can visit the seaside. The day after you can have an excursion to Trieste. Another day you can discover the San Daniele. A nice combination that I didn't mention before, we were talking about the Basilica in Aquileia with the mosaic. So if you have some clients, they're really interested in art, but not only, I always suggest, let's say, to combine a visit with Spilimbergo that hosted the mosaic school, one of the mosaic school unique in Europe. and you will have the possibility to visit the classes. You will see the students learning to do the mosaics and the contemporary use of mosaic. So students there were, let's say, hired for doing swimming pool by the Caribbeans, doing the welcome desk in the 7-star hotels in Dubai and places like this. So there is this combination of mosaic that is not only art from the past, like let's say we saw in the mosaic in Aquileia, the Romans one, but also a contemporary approach. Imagine, for instance, in Rome, the Foro Italico is made by students coming from the school in Spilimbergo. The school grown up over there because the first mosaic were made by the stones of Tagliamento River, but Spilimbergo is not that far from Venice. So the maestro vetraio in Venice met the maestro mosaicista in Spilimbergo, and they say, why don't we do the mosaic with glass? And visiting the classes with all the colorful works, it's really a thing. I would definitely recommend, if you're not super keen on art, but it will be an experience, you will carry that with you. So it's also to see, let's say, the backstage of a mosaic moment, let's say. Yeah.
Rafael, I think this is really unique, and I've got a few requests of people. Can you email me, please, all of the details and everything? So that would be really amazing, maybe to actually have a bit of a roundup of sites to visit. I was also asked how many luxury hotels are there, and how many which are the unmissable products to taste when you come to Friuli Venezia Giulia. Obviously the prosciutto was one.
Yeah, absolutely. About luxury hotel, I mean, we do have Porto Piccolo by Trieste. It's just 30 minutes driving from the city center. And we recently opened another 5-star in the city center in Trieste, but there is the big offer of 4-star all over the territory. Depends on which kind of client, which time of the year. About the products, as you say already, Michaela, a must taste is prosciutto di San Daniele, absolutely. Then I would say that it's a perfect pairing with a glass of Friulano, so our local native grape with fresh bread. So I think one lunch is made with this. And then absolutely, of course, maybe doing hiking by the Alps, by the Montasio plateau, so you can see the original ingredient of this frico that we saw that before. And the food and the cuisine is, as Antonella said in the beginning, merging with all the culture we have in here, because being close to the border with, let's say, Slavic countries, in the north, the German-speaking ones, and from the seaside, we add the influence of the Venetian. There is a combination of food. You can have, let's say, a variety of culture actually also on your table. I don't know if you remember, Michaela, the picture we watched about the two guys by the Alps that I told you after days. This is the Monte Lussari, and I always recommend we are over there by the three borders, because the Monte Lussari is in Italy, in Friuli Venezia Giulia, but very close to the Austrian Alp and to the Slovenian one. So if you sit on the table after you hike and you have Italian pasta, Austrian beer and Slovenian schnapps. So all the three countries together on your plate. And I think it's an experience you cannot miss. This mixture and combination of culture met in here, it's really the extra factor of this territory. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Definitely.
It's a worth. I would like to add another one of our typical products as a PDO product. So DOP for the Italian market, PDO for the British one, which is the olive oil from Trieste. It is made out of a native olive variety, which is Bianchera bellica, and the name of the oil is Tergeste DOP. So this is something really, really special of the region Friuli Venezia Giulia, and it's made on the Karst Plateau, so this hilly area on the back of Trieste city, and it's unmissable. But together with the PDO products, it's full of very small and traditional products that you can taste, slow food presidiums and traditional products of the region Friuli Venezia Giulia. So it's really full, plenty of occasions for you to taste something extraordinary and excellent.
Fantastic. Any other questions, everyone? I think Alison was asking, what's the other luxury hotel in the city center? One was Porto Piccolo, and the other one, there was another one.
Hotel Ai Duchi.
Hotel ai Duchi. Okay, I'm writing it here.
They're reopening very soon. They completely refurbished as a 5-star. So I guess it will be a question of really short month, a couple of months, even less, because they were closing down during the lockdown and they took this time to open this. Or by the Collio area where Antonella was in the beginning, that we're opening a spa by Castello di Spessa, where the theme is the wine. So all the treatments are made with all the wine products.
Wow.
So I guess, Lara, something very unique, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Very, very unique. Now, for a bike lover like I am,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of hikes with e-bikes as well in my region, because I come from Piemonte, Torino, and that was really handy to have an e-bike because there's a lot of up and down. So you're going to send around some routes, because I think that's something that would you definitely recommend as an experience, or are there others that
Absolutely, absolutely. You can do that, for instance, by the Colli Orientali wine area, because some hills are not that steep like in Piemonte, but with the e-bike it's lighter. Or for instance, you can visit Lara in San Daniele, then there you need an e-bike, I guess, right? Yeah, but at the end you get the prize because you have a fantastic slice of San Daniele, so you won't feel too stressed, you know. It's pretty nice. And also by the Alps, for instance, by the Alps, for those keen on cycling, but those tough one, let's say, we have the Giro d'Italia passing in Friuli Venezia Giulia next week. And one of the stage will be by Monte Zoncolan, that hosts one of the tough slope up parts. I cannot do that without an e-bike. I can do that driving or with e-bike. I really have my full esteem for those people that is keen on doing that without e-bike. Really tough. But there is possibility for cycling for any kind of cyclist. So for this so-called cicloturismo, I would say, so really light, you know, for instance, by the lagoon, there are lots of possibilities for families like in Grado and Lignano. There are cycling paths. You can enjoy sunset by the lagoons path, but of course by the hills in San Daniele, by the Collio Hills, by Cividale area. And also for those of you in the Alps, lots of possibility as well for mountain bikes. So let's say plenty of places to get your best time in here. Yeah.
I think everyone is raring to go, I have to say, but a lot of requests for follow-up information. Please send me bike itineraries, send me information on where to find this and where to find that. I think everyone is now after the hidden gems and the hidden places and the not so known and discovered. They're in seek of authenticity more and more. And I think wherever you can get that, you're going to get hold of it and actually spread the word. So a lot of requests from that perspective. So we've got a follow-up on our hands, Rafael, I think.
Yeah, here we are. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Absolutely. Anyway, so if anyone, does anyone have any more questions for the team at Friuli Venezia Giulia? Anyone really? I mean, I love the coffee. Oh my goodness, that little card, I would treasure it with gold to understand how to order in the kind of dialect, I guess. And
it's lovely because when you step into, let's say, if you arrive by train to Trieste, when you arrive in the cafeteria in the stazione dei treni, in the train station, it's still, let's say, no man's land. So they ask you twice, how does it work? But when you're like local, so Veronica, I guess we will need absolutely a copy of that dictionary.
Yes, of course. Here I am with it.
Could you please turn it?
For you.
Could you please turn it so we can read the way to order coffee on the other side, please?
Yeah, it's like small one for the espresso is nero.
Yep.
Okay, then is gocciato, so an espresso with a drop of milk.
Yeah.
The caffè macchiato is capo, and capo in B is what I asked, so in the glass. And then the cappuccino, the Italian traditional cappuccino, we say caffè latte.
So this happened only in Trieste. So you really feel like
Trieste, only in Trieste. The Trieste province, let's say, okay, Trieste and surroundings, the karst.
Yeah.
Alison was asking Lara, the calendars for the wine experiences will be available in 2 weeks, you said?
Yeah, I would say in a couple of weeks, and as soon as they're ready, we will definitely send them to you all so that you can discover what's up next. And a thing I forgot to say and to mention is a very nice experience, which is called See and Taste, which lets all these tourists that are spending their holidays down at the sea here in Friuli Venezia Giulia to discover what's good to eat and to drink in the center of the region, for example. So you could enjoy, I don't know, a sunset cruise in the sea with some typical products of the region, or a bike trip to the center of the region, and then the award, the prize for you as you've been biking is going to be a tasting of all our products. So the 4 experiences are Art and Taste, See and Taste, Pick and Taste, and Harvest and Taste. And we will send you details about all these experiences.
Oh, fantastic. And I think a lot of people would really appreciate Veronica's little card. We found it really, really interesting. And also some interesting information about food and wine experiences, because we've got some buyers who'd be interested in knowing more and giving more insights into that. So as much information as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so if no one has got any more questions, but if you do, please come forward. Anyone got any more questions?
No, thank you. Because very, very informative. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh,
Was really nice.
very good of you.
And congratulations to all your colleagues. They are doing fabulous. I'm ready to go now.
Wait, here we are.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for everyone participating. I'm sure we will be not long before we send you all of the information that you're requiring. And on behalf of Friuli Venezia Giulia, thank you, Raffaella, Lara, Veronica, Antonella, who's probably now hiking. Now. Thank you so much for this informative session, and we hope to see you all in Friuli Venezia Giulia very, very, very soon. But for now, ciao, ciao.